Throughout the history of the Overwatch League, there have been many insane games, and honestly, it's more than I can cover in just one video. But even though I can't cover them all, I went through and picked out a few of my favorite ones of these matches to cover and reminisce about today. So, if you like the Overwatch League, Overwatch Esports, or just Overwatch in general, please consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel for more Overwatch content. It's simple, it's quick, and it would really mean a lot to me, so consider subscribing. With that said though, let's get started with one of my personal favorite games, the 7-map banger in the 2020 Summer Showdown Finals between the Paris Eternal and the Philadelphia Fusion. This match was midway through a pretty weird meta, mostly consisting of Double Shield, Ashe, Genji, and Bat Brig. The key component of this comp though was definitely the Genji, and if the team didn't have a good Genji player, then they were no good in this tournament. Because of this, the San Francisco Shock, who didn't really have a full-time Genji player, didn't actually make the finals for the first time in the year, and instead, the underdog Paris Eternal team made it to the grand finals to face off against the dominant Philadelphia Fusion. This was truly a crazy battle. Sparkle versus EQO, Xe versus Carpe, it was a pretty great match. This match would be both of these franchises' first stage win if they were able to take it home, and both teams absolutely battled it out in one of the best matches in Overwatch League history. The teams traded maps back and forth. Kings Row and Blizzard World were actually pretty good maps, and they finally were able to finish on Rialto, where one of the most iconic moments in Overwatch League history unfolded. Xe got an opening pick onto Carpe, and all seemed lost, but EQO, in overtime, gets a 7k, and wins a 3v1 to secure the point, leaving the commentators Bren and Josh absolutely losing it in one of the best callouts in Overwatch League history.
Distance as the overtime burns through. The Fusion need to find an opening. Sparkle now moving through, but Xe's on the flank. The headshot onto Carpe. One of their star players taken out early. And Boombox just left to his own devices in the sidelines. He goes down to Fusion. Only a couple of players left remaining. EQO's got to come up huge right now. Everyone is weak. EQO with the blade, pulls it through, builds it up. Will it be enough? 1 kill, 2 kill. Are you kidding me? EQO now finds it with the third. And now it is overtime. Xe moving over to the Tracer to try and deny, but EQO! What a player, what a star! Unbelievable performance in the overtime clutch, and normally it's Carpe, normally he steps up, but this time, EQO reminds everybody at home why he's still on this roster.
On top of this crazy play, the one player to note was actually Fielder, who was playing at home from Korea on 200 ping at 3 in the morning. This match was one of the best matches of all of these franchises. It was crazy, it was iconic, and it was definitely one of the first matches I go to show people whenever people say that they want to look into the Overwatch League. But the second match on this list is widely considered to be the greatest Grand Finals in Overwatch League history. That being the 2022 Grand Finals between the Dallas Fuel and the San Francisco Shock. The Shock were midway through a crazy lower bracket run, and although they were expected to be great with Season 5 proper deadlifting every game, they just weren't able to make it through. So them making it through their lower bracket was pretty cool. Before this tournament, there was a major meta shift, with Kiriko being introduced, and it led to this weird Winston, Sojourn Reaper, Kiriko Lucio meta. And the Kiriko battle between Finn and Fielder was pretty cool to watch. This match absolutely went the distance, being the first and only finals to ever get to map 7. Things were looking good for the Shock, with Proper playing out of his mind, carrying his team all the time, and somehow managing to win maps against Fearless with fucking Mikey as his tank player. The Shock had a 3-2 lead, and it really looked like the Shock were about to win their 3rd season. But surprisingly, Edison of all players had other plans. Edison had never really been the most dominant or flashy player, but in this series, he must have had his 3rd eye opened or some shit, because this guy went absolutely nuclear. Edison and Proper traded multi-kills on Sojourn, with Striker and Sparkle getting several kills on Reaper, and finally, on Coliseo, the Fuel locked the fuck in, taking the Shock down in a dominant fashion, and finally ending the Dallas Fuel's cycle of misery. This match clearly meant a ton for these guys, with Fearless finally finishing his redemption arc from the good old Dragons days, Edison getting a chance to shine after being benched on Atlanta, Sparkle, Hunbin, and Fielder getting the win that they deserved after the last few years, and Chio proving that he was an insane rookie and was probably the runner-up Rookie of the Year after Proper. This match was just insane to watch, and Mitch screaming out at the end is just so iconic.
How do they touch the cart? The bomb's going to be there, Violet's going to be forced away, he's in grave danger indeed! The touch is there from Striker, he has a depth champions!
This match was easily the best Grand Finals we ever had, and is just one of the best matches in Overwatch history. However, moving on to a match that will surprise many, we have the Atlanta Reign versus the San Francisco Shock in Round 1 of the 2019 playoffs. This match was not really one that people expected to be very good, with the dominant number 3 Shock, who were expected to be a top tier team, going up against the underdog number 6 Atlanta Reign. The meta at the time was double shield, obviously, with a weird Reaper Doomfist DPS line and a zombie comp backline of Lucio Moira. This match was an insane, unexpected Map 7 banger, and it was absolutely loaded with highlights. My personal favorite moment was on Map 7, when Moth ended up booping 4 players off the map to open up the attack. This match ended up concluding in one of the worst C9s in Overwatch League history, where, despite the Shock seemingly having won the fight, they just never touched, and a low HP Reign team ended up upsetting the title favorite Shock team.
Have to use this sound barrier, and then you don't have it for the Gravitic Flux. It's
30
how
seconds.
Atlanta wants to combo.
Gravitic Flux, Skater! Had to be a sound barrier. Smurf able to stay alive, but for how long? The Flux also coming out from the Shock. Smurf is down. Master is removed into 1-for-1, but Poke push people charging. No!
Oh, they got it! They got a
What? What? They walked off the car!
No way! Unbelievable! The Shock are stunned!
However, despite this embarrassing loss, as many of you might remember, this match was the spark for this Shock team to end up rolling through the lower bracket, not dropping a single map. And it's crazy to think that such an insane match like this was the reason that that run ever started. But before I talk about the last 2 matches, please consider subscribing to this channel for more Overwatch content. I post weekly videos covering all sorts of fun Overwatch esports and Overwatch League stuff, so please consider subscribing. With this shield done, let's talk about one of my personal favorite matches of all time, the 2021 Countdown Cup Finals. If you watched the 2021 season, I'm sure you remember this 7-map slugfest between the LA Gladiators and the Chengdu Hunters. Since the Dallas Fuel and Shanghai Dragons were out of the picture, these two teams finally had a chance to get their first ever stage title, and they went all out. The Gladiators took an early 3-1 lead, and it really did look over for the Hunters. But Leave simply was not having that, and the Hunters pushed back, tying up the series and bringing us to Havana. If you've watched this game, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about next. On the Hunters' offense, things seemed like they were going to win, and they were about to cap the second point. They took down 3 members of the Gladiators, and it looked like they had this fight under wraps. But Shu, in a desperate attempt, uses his Ant Matrix in this lost fight, and managed to secure not only 3 kills, but a 4th one in return with some assistance from Kevster. They were able to clutch up the 3v6, and at the end of the match, Bren and Josh lose it. Their call-out of Shu is just insane, and this is one of the main reasons the Gladiators end up taking the map, and they ended up winning their first ever stage tournament.
Storm Arrows, not doing too much, but the Chengdu Hunters, they're winning this one out. Muse has fallen, Birdring, oh, he's going to be next on the list. There you go, taken out straight away. It's going to be desperation now for the Gladiators.
Shu's turning it with his Ant Matrix.
With the Ant Matrix
Shu!
on the back, Jinmu's been taken out! I don't believe that! You have got to be kidding me! Shu comes out with the clutch ultimate, and he's no stranger to it. He loves to just pump out his ultimates to try and turn these team fights at a completely different angles when teams aren't expecting it. But to salvage it then and there, potentially game-winning.
Finally, the last game for today is the only one that actually isn't from a tournament. This was a really insane 6-map regular season game in Week 1 of the 2021 season in a battle between the Houston Outlaws and the San Francisco Shock. This match was super early in the 2021 season, where the newly revamped Underdog Outlaws team went up against the defending champions in the Shock. This game started out looking pretty good for the Outlaws, taking Map 1, tying Map 2, and winning Map 3 to have a 2-0 lead heading into Map 4. However, the Shock, in typical Shock fashion, were never going to go down without a fight, and they were able to take Maps 4 and 5 to tie up the series. On Havana in Map 6, it really looked like a reverse sweep was imminent. The Shock full held the Outlaws, but the Outlaws were able to fuller hold them in response with some incredible play, and they were able to be the first team to ever upset the reigning champions. I mean, just listen to the call-out at the end of this match. It was electric.
Let's see how they're employed. May the better team win. Jungkook's hit with a bite grenade early. That's a very early immortality field as well. Could be dangerous, but there's a blizzard there now getting thrown down. Jungkook, Shatter. Oh my god! The Outlaws have done it! We thought they'd be kissing the ring, but they forced the Kings to bend the knee! The plucky upstarts have done it! In the final moments, the Outlaws reign supreme!
As a whole, these games are some of my favorites, and I often go back to watch them. Rewatching them for this video was actually really fun, and I hope to make a part 2 to this, so let me know what other insane matches you remember down in the comment section below. With that said though, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't been keeping up with my channel, I've been posting several polls in the community tab for an upcoming video, so go leave your thoughts there if you want them to be heard. If you like Overwatch esports and the Overwatch League, please consider subscribing to this channel and leaving a like on this video. I also have a Twitter, link in the description, so follow me there for more Overwatch esports content. And as always, thank you so much for watching.